Hello and welcome back to the Champion Draft Series second season. I am joined today with another one of our competitors, Mr. Jasensational, head of the Windswept Warriors. How you doing, Jason?
Hey there, Pinko's doing good. Thanks for having me.
Of course, glad to have you. So for those here viewing this that are not familiar with you, would you mind introducing yourself real quick?
Sure, my name is Jasensational. I am a part-time competitive player, part-time memer, part-time game show host, but your full-time Yasuo enjoyer. Happy to be here.
Glad to have you, and that's certainly a wider range of very cool titles for someone in the community, and I've definitely, personally, very much enjoyed Runeterra and Jeopardy. Thank you for putting on that show. Now, to go off of what you were saying about a Yasuo enjoyer, there are several champions that seem to have really clicked with you, and I think a lot of your viewers would very much attribute you to, mainly Yasuo, but I also think of Lurk or Karmaset. I remember your guide on Karmaset was very helpful. It was very awesome. Do you feel like going into a draft setting, a draft format like this, that you are going to potentially lean towards champions that you are maybe a little bit more comfortable with? Or do you think you will have a different, more balanced approach? What do you think your initial strategy is going to be?
Yeah, well, as a namesake, Windswept Warriors, it would be a shame if Yasuo did not manage to make that lineup. Definitely something that I would like to prioritize, and I don't think that many people would prioritize them outside of me, so that's something that I'd like to secure down. Other than that, as a competitive player in the past, being flexible, having to play good decks generally means that, some of my dumbest decks that I play aren't very good, so have that flexibility behind me, but, having the comfort behind the picks that I like is something that is pretty nice. However, in a draft setting, I've seen some of the competitors who play. I know Majin really likes Karma as well, so there's gonna be some contention for some of the other things that I like, but we'll see how it ends up, and hopefully at least walk away with Yasuo.
It's going to be really interesting to see who gets what, and we're going to have the draft order pretty soon at the time of this recording, so I'm very curious to see how this goes. All right, so following up on that, should some of your favorite champions be stolen? I know that in a recent interview we did with Shodox, he was like, I'm gunning for people's favorite champions. So should Yasuo or some other of your favorite champions be stolen? How do you think that's going to affect your draft strategy overall? Do you think it won't really matter that much? You'll just grab another good champion, or is that just going to devastate you?
Well, that's a fair question. Like I said before, I'm fairly flexible. I've played this game for 3 years, like I guess most of my competitors, so I've had the chance to play through, pretty much every champion out there. But we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty flexible overall. Obviously, it would kind of suck to, I'd like to have fun and win at the same time. So hopefully, I get to do that playing the champions I like.
Hopefully. Now, looking at the rest of the competition, the entire player roster, many of which I'm sure you're familiar with, how confident are you going into this competition in the success and performance of the Windswept Warriors?
Yeah, I definitely got a chance to look at all my competitors, and most of the names I recognize from playing in the competitive scene, and I'm pretty sure I've more or less lost to all of them in some game, in some competitive setting at some point in time. So it's definitely going to be a very, very tough roster out there, but given the draft setting as well, I know that the decks that people might come up with are not going to be the most optimal across the board, so I think anything goes, and if I can land, few things that I like to play, then it should be a pretty even setting all around.
All right, well, thank you so much. That basically sums up this interview that we have scheduled with you today, but before you go, how about leaving a channel plug or something for anyone who might be interested in following your journey through the Champion Draft Series?
Yeah. For sure. I'll probably keep things updated over on Twitter at Jasensational, as well as streaming my games, ideally on Twitch at Jasensational, but the SSR3 is. But yeah, two main channels where I should likely be keeping up to date with the CDS.
All right, yeah, and I'll make sure to leave those links down below in the description for those of you watching. So thank you so much for joining us, Jason. We're getting really close to that draft and to the first few weeks of games. I'm so excited. I'm really glad to have you on for this competition.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
See y'all later.